gentlemen, boys and aliens, and or whatever you identify in this wonderful, beautiful world, welcome into the Hunter Houston ESG podcast. As always, I am your host, T to the D to the C, T to the man, whatever you want to call me, Hunter Houston, whatever. I am here. I am trying my best. And shout out to the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast, Will Schultz, LL Smooth, Sean the Man Powers, The Radical One, Reggie Live. They have an amazing ending theme song at their show, just FYI, done by a certain individual, me. So I like their ending theme song because it's done by me, and thank them for using it. So, and a lot of people have said they like the theme song. So there you go. But I digress. Now, basically, this show is going to be mostly about Sony and kind of their good points, their bad points. But before we get started on that, again, shout out to PlayStation Ain't Dead, shout out to the Resident Sterile Show, shout out to Tricky Mick out there in New York City, holding it down, trying to get them taken care of and do all the little extra things that he can possibly do. So let's get this show on the road and talk about I guess, the big dog in the room, or the problem in the room, which is Sony has recently, they have dropped a lot of different studios as of late. So let's take a look at these studios they have dropped, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are watching, for those who are not, I will tell you. So if you get a chance and you're watching this, I'm going to show you what Sony has been doing here. So in the past 3 years, these are the significant places that Sony has shut down. Thank you, AI Overall, for showing me. They just recently, this week, shut down Blue Point Games. Now, Blue Point Games, as you can see right here, we're going through the list, has actually, make sure I have y'all on here. I do have y'all on here. Good. Blue Point Games, as of recently, they have shut down. Like, look, they remade the Demon Souls 2020. The remake for that, Shadow of the Colossus remake for a couple other projects that were actually pretty good that they redid that I actually enjoyed. And then what else did they Blue Point Studios did like 4 or 5 really amazing games that I really enjoyed. And of course, they were doing some God of War live action game because apparently American, people, or the American companies, like, let's just do a bunch of live action games. Nobody wants that crap, dude. No, I mean, look, the ones who already do it, let them do it. Then basically buy from them before they blow up like Nitro. But for you to sit there, it's like, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and do this. No, you're screwing people over. And then the other places they have shut down, I know they did more than that. I think they also did another game I really enjoyed. They shut down Firewalk Studio, which did Concord. And I know this breaks Will Schultz's heart from PlayStation Aren't Dead because Concord was considered the greatest game ever made by him. He played as this old lady in the multiplayer, and he would constantly say, "You haven't played it, man. You didn't know the game doesn't suck." No, Will, I did play it when it was free, and the game sucked. Just for the fact is, it's been done a gazillion times over, and you did with unattractive characters and all these other things. Now, that studio kind of deserved to be shut down because, again, they got all this money, and hey, kudos for them, man, for straight up robbing Sony in the middle of the night as if they had a daycare or some luring system center opened or something like that. Kudos for them for that, man. Oh, and by the way, I am drinking a green tea as always, most of the time. So it's nice and soothing on my voice. So that way I don't sound like such a butthole, even though I am. Neo Koei, a mobile service. I don't know what I don't know what they were going to do with that. I think they just bought it just to have the games or rights or whatever games they had, or try to get young people. The hardest one to accept. Now, London Studios, to me, look, Singing Star, Blood and Truth shuts down. Now, they had some other games. I remember London Studios for the Getaway 1 and 2. I don't know why they stopped doing the Getaway. It's like, oh, we don't want to make London look bad. Look, man, you could have did modern day London, how it is now. Put it like, some Londoners against like all the invaders that y'all brought in, and make it about that, about like, swindling the invaders that swindled you. And to me, that made for a good damn show. or anybody who's like, who's a gamer, it's like, oh yeah, man, Londoners are fighting back or something or another. Like they're fighting back against the government, for basically arresting them just for saying the government sucks or saying something they considered inappropriately because they don't have free speech, even though they're the country of the Magna Carta. How'd that work out for you? Maybe next time you write down and put it to where it can't be unbroken. Like, have a constitution rather than a wink, wink, nodge, nodge. This is the way things are, and this is what we say. Yeah, it doesn't mean crap. Now, the most heartbreaking one is Japanese studios, which they've restructured, downsized, technically almost shut the thing down. The only thing they really got going on right now is Astrobot, and they're hoping they're making an Astrobot Part 2. Astrobot has been an amazing game. I cannot say enough about Astrobot. But, but my thing is, I think Bungie Studio will be done if they if Marathon doesn't do what they're hoping Marathon will do, because it's a kind of like a live action game, and or it's like they'll go back to Microsoft or go work for whoever. And yes, I am aware that Microsoft, Phil Spencer and the other lady had just stepped down, and the lady they had taken over never worked in gamings, but she's worked in AI. So expect all your games to be written by AI, and basically Xbox will no longer exist by 2028. They're working on a new system. They better shut that shit down, because that's going to be a loss of money. But hey, it's Microsoft. They'll write it off, and it'll be what it is. But Blue Point Games shutting down to me was heartbreaking. Japan Studios shutting down, technically shutting down, is heartbreaking as well. Both amazing studios. London Studios, again, for what they did in the past, they were pretty amazing. That's just kind of heartbreaking onto itself, man. I wish that would not have happened. So I can't help but say I wish Sony would not have screwed the people, because I think you screwed the people in a harsh way. And let me know, in the comment sections, if you're watching on Spotify, or if you're listening on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, wherever, if you think Sony's dropped the ball by getting rid of these game studios or making them make these online games that go nowhere, that cost all this money, and then you end up destroying the studio in the first place and cutting your losses. Hopefully they can write this off from their standpoint. But then you got to think of, okay, you said that you had people working on these art. Is everything just like such a non-disclosure agreement that you can't change it up? And I'm going to tell you that there was a game that was going to be an online game that they end up changing. That is one of the games that you should be playing when it comes out in March, because they had enough time to kind of redesign it and think about it. And the game's been in limbo hell forever. But I think because it's been in limbo hell forever, they were able to fix it and make the necessary changes needed to make it good. But let's talk about a little bit, just a little bit, about the state of play and what was shown at the state of play this year. What made Sony kind of say, hey, I need to pay attention to what Sony's doing at the state of play? Well, you had over 30 games showed. The God of War Sons of Sparta, which is like some horrible side scroller game. I don't know who was the clown that greenlighted this garbage. It was like, well, just slap God of War on it, and they're just gonna buy it, because you know what? They're a bunch of lemmings jumping off the cliffs. They'll just buy it. Everything will be everything. They'll just jump off the cliffs and they'll buy it. It's okay. They'll just buy it. The one thing I predicted beforehand, I may not have predicted on my show, but I predicted to PlayStation Ain't Dead, Will Schultz, and many others, Resident Sterold, and a few other people I've podcasted with before, that Ghost of Yutei's multiplayer will be shown. And it was shown. And it was given a release date, March 10th. So I will probably be taking off March 10th to play Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer. And my homeboy, the Ghost, shout out to the Ghost, who numerous times has done many different things for the show, also donated a couple of things to me. We'll probably be taking it off, and we'll probably spend the whole day playing that until I must get my child. So that was one of the cool things. The John Wick game. The John Wick gang. Yeah, it's kind of like a gang. He's pretty much a one-man gang. Shout out to the rest of the one-man gang. So to me, the John Wick game reminds me of Rise to Honor, a Jet Li game for PlayStation 2. For those who have not played that game, you are missing out. That game was widely misunderstood by a lot of people. I strongly recommend it to every human to play that game. That's in my recommended games for you to play. If you have a PS2 or if you have a preservation machine, shout out again to Will Schultz for the preservation machine. Uh, Check out Rise to Honor, and that to me is what I feel the John Wick game is like a Rise to Honor, except it has more gunplay rather than like a lot of hand to hand. But I felt that was an awesome game. Um, Legacy of Kain Defiance for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. What was it? Yeah, just regular Xbox. I thought it was a great game. A remastery really wasn't necessary. You could have just like if it's going to be remastered, please clean the controllers up. Please clean up a few things here and there. That's all I ask. I like that game and the artwork because the artwork is kind of like like kind of creepy. I can't play it, or have it on the screen. I can't really play it because I don't like my daughter to be creeped out by that kind of stuff. Change the artwork where it can like set them artwork. I think there should be something where you can have hidden artwork for when like you log in or something like that. Like the artwork is like invisible or something another. So that way it's not like when your kid turns on your system, if your kid plays on the same account as you do, they don't see that artwork. So Sony, if you're listening and you listen to me gripe, listen to me about that. Find a way to change the artwork for certain things. Remedies Control Resonant, or Resonant, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I like the first one. The first one got kind of really like there's one part that's like came really hard, like it wasn't even like really hard. It was like shooting hard, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to do that because I had to do it like over 30 times. I just got tired of doing it. But do I think the game looked good? Do I think the game looked good? Do I think the game looks great? Yes. Do I think the game will be great? Yes. How many gigabytes will that sucker eat up? That's what I'm wondering. Now that I have no 2 terabytes, but shout out to Samsung. My 2 terabyte hard drive died on me, ladies and gentlemen. I was heartbroken. I was distraught. I was basically tried everything under the book. And then I realized, is this thing still under warranty? So I call up Samsung and they say, "Hey, we're going to send you this thing," and customer service helped me. They had the best customer service. They were super awesome, and they sent me a thing to send it back. They're going to try to fix it, maybe update some drivers or something. But I've had this thing for like four years or whatever in my PS5, and I paid like 400 something bucks for it when it was brand new. Now, note during Christmas time all these 2 terabytes for like $100 or like 150 or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I don't need one because I have 2 terabytes. I'm good, for my PlayStation 5. And then all of a sudden, January or February comes around and just something happens. I don't know if I was playing it because I was streaming Infinity Nikki rather than playing it from the hard drive itself. But long story short, after that, I think it just didn't work. And so I'm trying every trick under the book. And so I look up how much one of these things cost, because I paid originally 400 and something for it because it was around when the PlayStation 5 came out, or technically the second year during COVID. And I was at Myrtle Beach and it was supposed to be on vacation. And apparently, every day I was checking any Best Buy, any place that was going to have it, and they said they were going to have it, but you have to be in line, and it's first come, first serve. I got there at 5 o'clock. I got there at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there was already a line around the building. Okay, at 4 o'clock in the morning, and so I said it. I wait. I think it was like 9 o'clock or whatever, and they finally came and started giving out tickets. And like I think I was one of the last 5 to 6 people. Like, you want a PlayStation 5 or you want an Xbox X Series? PlayStation 5, sir. Uh, Finally got there, got PS5, and then I got like their stupid warranty, everything like that, or whatever their thing was for Best Buy. And on my way back, I ordered the from Best Buy their 4 terabyte. No, excuse me, the 2 terabytes, and it's like, man, that's almost as much as the damn system. But it's like, okay, I had plenty of room because I know the 800 or not even 800, 600 gigs is not enough to for the system. So I get it. I install it. Everything's perfect. And I still two terabytes is still not enough, by the way. And again, during this holiday, things were like, oh, like $100 for two, or 150 or 200 for 2 terabytes for the same ones, or even the ones that Sony actually licensed the WDs, the whatever ones they license. So now I'm trying to buy one, and like 400, like what I originally paid for, like after the second year, or the whatever after COVID. So let's say 2021, and I'm thinking to myself, man, data systems suck. If you are a taxpayer or you're a voter and someone's thinking about putting a data system, you better hop on every Facebook, you better hop on everything and make sure no data systems get built in your area. And if they get, and if they're even thinking about building one in your area, or your city council or whoever, go to their house and protest them. Do everything you can that's within the legal limits of the law to make sure that they don't get that done. And because everything will go up, everything will be worse. But I digress. So I called up Samsung. They sent me a thing. I sent it back today. I am hoping that Samsung just gives me another one, or they fix the one that I have, where I can still continue to play and have tons of space. Because right now I have 3 games on my system: Astrobot, Infinity Nikki, and Ghost of Yute. That's it. That's the only 3 games. Everything else is for PS4 on my external hard drive, which is eight terabytes, and it's completely full. So the only PS5 games I have are those 3 PS5 games, because I'm saving that space for something else I'll be talking about later. And then there's some games that are going to be like 200 and something plus gigs that are going to get the whole system by themselves because of how big they are. Now let's get back to the state of play, but I just wanted to tell you that little story. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. Now, here's the thing about this Volume 2, and I want to use profanity, cuss, jump around, beat my head on the effing ground because of how mad I am that, you know what, both those games are good. Peace Walker, which I have Peace Walker right over here on my wall. I also have Peace Walker on this other wall over here for PlayStation 3 and for and for Xbox 360. And I used to have Metal Gear Guns of the Patriots, aka Metal Gear 4, but I don't have it anymore because I thought it was going to come out for PS5 or PS4 eventually. And now it's coming out. But here's what my original takeaway was, ladies and gentlemen, is I thought it was going to come out and it was going to be better, but the last one that came out is no better than the ones that have already been remastered for the Xbox 360, and basically because they're the ones that were remastered for PS. No, sorry, those are the ones that were remastered for PC. So all you're doing is probably taking the PC versions, or the ones that work from people who have done the preservation, and just re-releasing those and getting money off those. It doesn't even look like you're even doing anything that's even better. Now, if it was like a complete remake, like Metal Gear 3, or Tactics or whatever, but it's still Metal Gear 3, so technically Metal Gear 1. Then yes, and the thing is, like, it's clean as can be, it's beautiful, but it's a shot for shot remake. There's really no changes other than you can change the controls or whatever. Then they're taking away the multiplayer from Metal Gear Solid 4. So you won't have that in the game anymore, but you'll still have the multiplayer for Peace Walker, because the Peace Walker multiplayer was actually good, by the way. But I mean, it's probably you're just using the same code that we're using for that, because the one for the PS4, that was never coded. The code for it was just only probably for the PS3, whereas the code for Peace Walker was probably written with the Xbox 360 in mind. So that was a good, or excuse me, not the Xbox 360, because the original code writing was for the PSP, because that's what Peace Walker originally came out on, was the PSP first, then redone for the Xbox 360, and then everything else in between. But my problem is not with those two games, because both those games are amazing unto themselves, and it sucks that you're not getting the multiplayer for Guns of the Patriots. What sucks is that, okay, if it's volume 2, that should be the final volume. And you're not giving us the PSP games. You're not giving me Metal Gear Acid 1. You're not giving me Metal Gear Acid 2. You're not giving me Mobile Ops. And you should basically give, what is that, going to be volume 3 of all the PSP games together? Don't do that. Don't be that guy, because then you'd also have to add in Peace Walker as well. Be the guy who's going to basically say, you know what, we didn't throw these in the last one, but we're going to throw them in this one. We're going to give you Peace Walker, the PSP version as well. We're going to give you Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2, and we're going to give you Mobile Ops. And we're going to give you an updated version of those, control-wise or whatever, modern controls. Now, will they do that? No. Will they pretend like those games don't exist? Yes. And, what I saw from their whole list, which they had a good list of games, there, and I'll go over a couple more games. I just wanted to vent on Sony, not Sony, but Konami not doing a good enough job on the Metal Gear remasters. And with Konami, again, my beef is you have two great God of War style games, Castlevania Lament of Innocent and Castlevania Symphony of whatever it is. You have two good God of War Castlevania games. Redo the controls for those and just open up the camera, and you got an amazing ass game to give to people, dude. All right, so Death Stranding coming on the PC. I don't care. I didn't care for the first game. To me, I've said this before in private. I think Hideo Kojima flew too close to the sun when it came to what Metal Gear was and what Metal Gear was exposing. If you pay attention to the language, in other words, it felt so far fetched it couldn't be real. But everything he was saying, seems real to what's been happening and what's been taking place with all these different files and everything else. So I think the reason why he's made these walking simulators but still put his weirdness on it is because, if he didn't, let's just say he would have an issue or a problem. All right. So Marathon update. Again, I have no love for Marathon. I don't care about Marathon. Silent Hill, Townfall. We'll wait and see. Pragmata demo being released. Pragmata seems good enough on their demo being released. Plus, talking about Plus games, Tekken, Dark Erection, Time Crisis coming into premium. I have yet to see neither one of those in premium yet. Maybe I just didn't see because I do have premium. But overall, was it a decent show? Yes. Did I enjoy this show? Yes. It got me hyped up for the things I love about, gaming in general. And that's the one thing, you got to say, Sony's state of play is how a gaming show should be done. Period. It's how a gaming show should be done. You send me a friend's request. All right. Some dude wants me to send him a friend's request. Brother, I can add you on friends request through if I'm here next time. Let me go ahead. I'll say sure, and I'll look into that. Give me just a second, people. All right. Let this guy know. In 15, I can send this guy a friend's request. And I can be friends with this gentleman on Twitch. And, I post stuff on Twitch from time to time. Now, I want to get on to two of the last things of the show. And the two of the last things of the show are going to be about this little game right here that I care about. And this little game is called Crimson Desert. Now,
and just endless mystery around Crimson Desert, it finally feels like the moment is here. This is not one of those maybe soon situations anymore. This is real. Content creators are getting their hands on the game next week. Preview events are happening, and the first true in-depth gameplay previews are dropping at the beginning of March. We've also received the first
But if you're looking at the gameplay, you can go from first. Now, this is the game I was telling you about earlier that people should be paying attention to. And the reason why I say this is why you need to be paying attention to this particular game. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing because I don't want to give up too much of the game. But you should be paying attention to that game because that game went from a live service game or to a massive multiplayer game to a single player game. So they worked hard to fix it. They worked hard to get it done and get it the right way. They didn't sit there and say, "Hey, let's just go ahead and drop this because we can." And if it makes money, it doesn't make money. They cared enough to say, "Hey, hey, hey, this is going down a wrong path, or this path is not going to make us money, and this path is going to fail. Let's make something that everybody's going to like." Crimson Desert, to me, has been a game I've been looking forward to for a while, even when it was going to be a multiplayer, and now that they made it a single player, possible to add co-op. The single player adventure is what most men crave. And again, I'm sorry to other gamers out there, regardless of whatever you identify as. The male fantasy, or the fantasy in general, is to overcome and be a hero. And, it's not to play with other people, it's just to be a loner, go out, do your thing, be a hero, leave, and be forgotten. You know, you don't want to be remembered. You want to be forgotten, and then tales can be told of you if that was the case. It's kind of like every guy's, did like you did something good not because you had to, because it was in your heart to do something good. But Crimson Desert, I strongly believe can be a good game. Now there is one other thing I want to address, and I'll address it more next week as well. But I'd like to address it now if I can get this stupid thing to work here. Hello. I think my little thing wants to die on me. It doesn't like me anymore. It wants to die on me. Everything always wants to die on me. I'll go ahead and kill this here. And forgive the technical difficulties, but I want to check out something real quick just because. And I think this is very important, and I almost forgot about it. I remembered it. And I'm sure PlayStation Ain't Dead will talk about it tonight. We'll see if they do or don't. But I want to bring it up here and address it real quick to the general audience. And that is GTA 6 is saying that they are going to have a scanned government issue ID, passport, driver's license, self matching tool to verify if you are over the age of 17. So you will have to either put in your driver's license, your real ID, or some type of ID to identify who you are, perhaps. So that is crazy onto itself. So if your child wants to play this, you're going to have to put in your ID. This system is being rolled out as a region by region GTA Online first plans, blah, blah, blah. Anticipation for the method, blah, 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 ID, the UK Online Safety Act. Because safety is so important to the UK government that they want you to be safe, even though there are roaming rape gangs out there in the UK that are destroying X, Y, and Z, even though they're horrible people who are harassing young girls and taking pictures and everything. But UK has no safety for those young chaps that just want to sit and have some fun. Good old safety. That didn't they know about all safety and policies and whatnot. That's what they do. Of course they do. And looking at this, the restrictions of mature content and chat, in-game user-generated content for minors, because they care so much about the minors, ladies and gentlemen, that they've decided to make certain files and certain things be held for 15 years, after, they've long passed away or died, and, the 15 years becomes another 15 years, so forth and so on. And then they finally, if you're lucky, by the time they do release it, and there may be some left of the actual real files or whatever took place, but by then those people are already dead or long gone and no longer citizens of the UK. They've moved to whatever country of the designation. Now, failure to age verify will make it unaccessible to play multiplayer online, voice or chat or Snapmatic. Oh no! So yeah, so if you don't have a real ID or be able to do ID identification, ladies and gentlemen, you just won't be able to play certain game. That's going to be pretty lame. Yep. So sorry to you, and it sucks for you that you won't be able to play that type of game. So I hope you're willing, because it's probably going to be about 200. I'm saying right now, GTA 6 will be 200 terabytes, if not more. If it's less, I will say I'm wrong. I will say I'm sorry. I was wrong. I'm thinking pretty sure it's going to be 200 terabytes to run that sucker. But we shall see. Now, going on to music per se, and talking about music and knowing how much I just happen to love old music and whatnot, I would like to talk about, well, why not my music? Because Will Schultz from PlayStation 8 Dead, he loves my music. He told me so. He's like, man, your music is inspiring to me. It has made me a human being somewhat. I'm joking about that, by the way, but I am going to go to my music here in just a second, just because he said something about it. So I want to make it about my little thing, my little musical thing here, and it's be one of those type of beautiful things there. But yes, he has talked about music and he's talked about certain things. So I want to go over and talk about my music. And yes, I do use some AI tools because again, I'm not a rich guy. I do this whole thing from a freaking Chromebook. I don't even have a real PC. That's how broke I am. I'm literally using like a small little Chromebook in order to do everything that I do for this channel here. And I wish I was joking. I wish I was like, psych. No, I'm not psych. I'm not like, oh, nope. I literally, that is what I am doing. And I do it. Do I do it for the love of the game? Maybe. Do I do it for other things? Maybe. So let's go over to my playlist because, yes, I am so Vanity Fair that I have myself in my own playlist. So when people check me out, that's an open playlist. You know, when you look at my things for Hunter Houston ESG podcast, and you want to look at my playlist, and you want to see my music and what I do, my music's under Tommy Crawford. And what songs are those? Full playlist. Oh, we have Playground. That's a song from me. And is the song good? At least I think so. You have another song from me. I used to have an angel, and I have 5 other songs. Again, I can write, I can sing, but I can't play an instrument worth a damn. So, this song right here is about basically you having a child and or a daughter in particularly, and you basically starting out when she's just a little girl all the way up until your death, and then her going back to the playground again with her child and starting the cycle over again. That's the story of that song. It's heartwarming. It's heartfelt. I felt that every man, woman, and child that has a child, if you listen to this and you just listen to the words and you just pretend like Will Schultz does, pretends that that's a real band, not just stuff that I put together or I had AI kind of put together for me, um, and then put it all in the correct arrangement. So again, I will mention my crappy sing. Well, I don't think my music's crappy. I just say that just to make fun. But I think my music's great. It may not be for everybody. It may not be for you. And if it's not for you, you can send me comments. And it can't be Will Schultz lying on them comments. So no, no to Will Schultz. yes to their show that comes on at 10 o'clock at night on Saturday, and you can catch it just about everywhere. But other than that, no to him on his things. Now I got that out of the way, and I aggravated him, and he will let me know. Um, I love you, uh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you never listened to Pantera and you never had the opportunity to listen to Dimebag Darrell, not not Darrell from Loot Bros podcast or from Ninja Loot, who is also a guitarist, um, but he is not Dimebag Darrell from Pantera or Diamond Daryl from Pantera. Listen to the Flood, listen to the Cowboys from Hell album, listen to a lot of his guitar work, or listen to him teaching guitar or talking about how he does his licks. He had a whole different way of doing things. Shout out to him, man. I know it's been like an anniversary here recently for him and stuff like that. I love great metal music. Uh, I was in Coles this morning. I mean, make this story short, and the group Mr. Big was playing that stupid. I hate this song so much. I'm the one who waited on the line just to be with you. The I'm the one who wants. I hate that song. That song to me led to like 30 years or however many years it's been of just nonstop garbage ass rap and no like real rock and roll, no heavy metal. People said, Nirvana killed heavy metal or grunge killed heavy metal. Grunge didn't kill heavy metal because grunge is nothing but just relaced, repackaged punk pop, but or punk. Not punk pop because punk pop would be, was it Blink 182? Not Blink. No, well, Blink 182, I guess. But was those guys Green Day? No, basically, what killed it was bullcrap like Mr. Big. I'm the one who wants to be with you. I hated that song back when it was at its popularity of songs, and I still hate that song today. I told my child, who probably doesn't understand anything, I said, "This is what's destroyed music in general. Is trash like this, and it's the most simpingest ass shit. I mean, you might as well have just basically said you're in like the chair or the C chair, and it's like I'm the one who waited in line just to be with you. It's like here, be with my wife because I'm a complete and total chode ass loser. And apparently they had heavier music, but they never played another heavier music, and they felt like doing this stupid video was like, oh yeah. Oh no! I hate you guys this day. Even if you were a cool rock band, because I never listened to any of your damn music, and I was just forced listening. It was on the freaking radio, and some retees that I worked with, and people who like that song for some reason. I hate that song. I still think that was the downfall of metal music. Hair bands weren't that bad. At least you knew a hair band can kind of, like some hair bands could whip your ass, or at least try to, or at least fight you. These guys are like a bunch of wusses. Like I'm like, oh, my girlfriend's with that really cool guy over there from Pantera. Oh, look, he's kissing her, and they must really know each other very well. And she finally, he fills her up and all this other stuff, and she walks on over and it's like, "Hey, baby, did you have fun this weekend with your brother or whoever that guy is?" It's like, "Yeah, let's go. Here's my stuff. Carry it." "Okay, baby, I'll carry your stuff." That's more or less what Mr. Big was. That I hated those artists so much. Anybody who made crap like that, and like this, the lyrics for those songs, you know, you could hate me forever, which is fine. But like I've written better lyrics than that, and if and I can't play an instrument to save my life, but I've written better stuff than that. And the fact is that this got over goes to prove it's like people are unbelievably stupid. That song is garbage. That is the worst song ever written. You know, it's the worst song ever written. People used to say the extreme song, More Than Words. More Than Words is wasn't a bad song. That was a good song. You had a great guitarist, the lead singer, Eddie Sharon, who also went in for Van Halen. Eddie Sharon, good singer. The problem was it wasn't a good fit for Van Halen because they'd already like, dude, we love Dave. We love Sammy. We're not doing this again. It's kind of like everybody gets one lead singer, but if you get one more after that, if you try to go for three, no, you're done. We turned on you. Gary Sharon's an amazing artist, amazing writer. Their album is not that bad. If you take the Van Halen name off of that album that they did with Gary Sharon, that's a damn good album. I don't care who you are. That's a great album. But because the name Van Halen's on that album, it kills that album. And that's the way I feel about my music. If you take away the AI, um, music, music and stuff, and the layouts for some of the AI stuff, and you just listen to the words, and you just forgot that there was anything to do with any form of AI helping me, you would say, "Hey, it's not that bad. It's okay. How are you? I am good. How are you? I hope everything is great with you. Uh, Thank you for coming by my stream, dude. I appreciate you." Um, but to me, like if you just listen to that Van Halen album with you just take away the Van Halen name off of that album, it's that's a good band. And Gary Sharon's a badass. I mean, for people who love rock and roll music, um, you know, take that Van Halen album was good. It was super cool. How is your streaming going? Look, man, I've been streaming for years. Every now and then it's good, every now and then it's bad. It's not a big deal, but it is what it is. If people want to listen, they want to listen. If they don't, they don't. That's fine. Uh, that's the way life is. Just talking a little rock and roll at the end of a gaming show. Always want to talk a little music and expose people to stuff they may not listen to before. Uh, and like I said, I just mentioned a little bit of Van Halen. I mentioned Dimebag Darrell from Pantera. Listen to the greatest hits of Pantera. And then, check out The Cars. If you never heard The Cars, the best album from The Cars is Candio from start to finish. How long have you been playing it? Uh, I think you would ask me how long I've been podcasting. I've been podcasting for a few years now. And again, this is just basically an entertainment show for video games, sometimes pop culture, pop music, and just things in general, whatever I feel like talking about, which I have different art guests and artists on from different shows. Now, before I get out of here today, again, another shout out to the Resident Sterile YouTube show. Shout out to the PlayStation 8 Dead. Shout out to the one and only Trophy Whores or Proven Gamers over on Twitch themselves. Check them out. They haven't been live in a while on Sundays, but I got a couple boys over there holding it down. So, ladies and gentlemen, aliens, whatever you identify in this wonderful, beautiful world, thank you so much for tuning into the show. I appreciate you as always. I look forward to seeing you again next week or sometimes midweek. And please, if you're on Spotify, YouTube, wherever, Twitch, and you watch or listen to the stream, leave us a comment in the show. Tell us that you like it, share it, like it. If you don't like it, share it with a person that you don't like. Have a safe and wonderful day, and we will always appreciate you. Peace out.